1 year ago, I started a faceless YouTube channel that has since reached 21,000 subscribers, 8.3 million views, and has generated me over $70,000. And I actually knew what I was doing. You see, before launching this channel, I had already built a solid portfolio of successful faceless YouTube channels, providing me with extensive knowledge on everything YouTube related. And this was just another project of mine. You could say I'm one of those gurus on YouTube, but unlike them, I know what I'm talking about. And I'm not here to feed you some bullshit surface level tips that even your grandma knows. I'm here to provide a detailed case study of one of my faceless channels and share my thought process throughout the entire journey. How did I find the niche? How did I create videos? How did I beat my competitors? How did I revive my channel when it was almost dying? How did I always stay ahead of the curve? If you apply everything I share in this video, I promise you, within the next 6 to 12 months, you'll start making serious money. So first things first, here's the channel. As you can see, it had its share of ups and downs throughout its run, and at times, I even had to take some drastic measures to ensure its growth. But don't worry, we will go through and analyze everything together. Now let's take a look at the revenue tab. We can see some huge swings as well, but these days it's still steadily generating me over $200, and sometimes $400 or even $600 in a single day. It all sounds like a dream, right? But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Throughout the year, there were quite a few pullbacks I had to deal with, which led to a lot of stress. So to better understand how I got here, let's take a step back to where it all started. Now, you might have noticed that this channel wasn't exactly built from the ground up. It was already pulling in a few hundred views daily before I began actively uploading. That's because I bought this channel, and I bought it a few years ago. It was monetized and pretty cheap, a good investment at the time, though I didn't have a specific plan for it. It just sat there accumulating dust with its old animation videos, serving a completely different audience. Last year, however, I decided to transform it into a profitable faceless channel. So, on April 27th, I uploaded my first video. But wait, what's my niche, you ask? You probably already noticed that the ratio between views and revenue is quite interesting. If we divide the overall last year's revenue by the amount of views in thousands, we get $9 RPM. That's basically how much the channel generates for every 1,000 views. And if you know anything about RPMs, then you understand how high it is. In comparison, the football niche is usually $1 to $2 RPM, news $4 to $6, automotive $4 to $5. But you shouldn't take these RPMs at face value because there are a lot more variables to consider when it comes to determining the RPM of a niche. For example, geography. Where's my primary target audience located? If I make videos about Europe, naturally, my audience will also be located in Europe. If I make videos about New York, chances are my core audience will reside in New York. It's a straightforward point, yet extremely crucial to consider because you need to target the countries with the most buying power. Age. How old is my target audience? If my videos are being watched by young teens or kids, there's a higher chance that my RPM is going to be lower because young people are broke. They're less likely to spend money because they barely have any for themselves. Essentially, they have little to no buying power. Older folks, however, have their lives figured out, 401k plans all set up, and generally are willing to spend more, therefore they're favored by advertisers. Topic. It's no secret that the video topic directly influences RPM. Who would watch videos about how to fix the interior of a motor yacht or some interesting model comparisons except wealthy individuals who are looking to buy one? So if wealthy consumers with deep pockets are watching your videos, advertisers will be willing to pay hefty sums of money for their ads to be placed on these videos, which in return increases your RPM. 70% of my audience are Americans aged 50 to 70 years old, with no specific interests. This has resulted in $9 RPM for my videos, but how did I find this niche? I explained how to assess a profitable niche, but what is there to assess if we don't know how to look for them in the first place? Well, I found mine by using 1 out of 10. It's basically a YouTube search, except on steroids. Now, I'm not saying that you have to use this tool to find profitable niches, but it just makes the whole process so much faster. And I don't care that I'm promoting it. It's a tool that I use, so why shouldn't I? Have you ever noticed those those YouTube videos saying how in the past few years, YouTube's search system has gone downhill, like it doesn't work as well as it used to? And yet every faceless content creator is still using it to find inspiration for their next video topic, thumbnail, or title ideas. Let me tell you right now, that's not how you rise above your competitors. This was possible because of 1 out of 10. The way I found my niche was simply by using the surprise button, which reveals a random selection of recently successful YouTube videos on interesting topics. The tool is actually meant to be used for discovering popular video formats, but what most users don't know is that it's just as good at finding profitable niches. To show you that I'm not just talking nonsense, I'll find a few profitable niches with 1 out of 10 in literally a few seconds. Okay. The first niche is basically anything related to planets and the mysteries of space. And there are a lot of ideas you can do with this. You can make documentaries on different asteroids. You can talk about rare events happening in space. You can even branch out towards UFO or Area 51. Then we have 1 in a billion moments in nature, which is a little bit more saturated. I'm not sure if I'd suggest going into this niche right now, but I know for a fact some people are making up to 6 figures a month by creating compilation videos of animal fights, collapsing buildings, natural disasters, etc. Moving on, we have truck crash compilations. This is a high-risk, high-reward niche. First of all, it's hard to follow all YouTube guidelines by making car crash compilations, but if you can somehow manage to slip past that, then this is definitely a profitable niche to get into. Drama gravitating around social media platforms is quite interesting. I haven't heard of anything like it before, and I'm not going to dive too deep here, but I think this one so far has the most potential. Now that you know how I found my niche, feel free to check out the tool for yourself. It's probably going to be linked in the description down below. There are a few more steps involved in validating a new niche, but I'll cover those in my next video. For now, let's move on with the case study. So I uploaded my first 6-minute documentary style video, and on the first day, it reached 89 views. While 89 views might not sound like a lot, for a first video that's actually quite promising, except for the fact that most of these views were just old subscribers who had forgotten that they were subscribed to this channel in the first place. Because again, I bought this channel a few years ago. The video wasn't showing any signs of life for the next few weeks, which was quite disappointing, but then out of nowhere, I noticed a sudden spike in views, and the video finally started gaining some traction. In the end, the video generated over $56, which is not good, but also not terrible, considering that it's the first video on the channel in this niche. If we take a look at the channel's yearly analytics, we can see that it took me 6 videos before I started seeing results. At first, I was gaining anywhere between 5 to 30,000 views a day, uploading around 1 to 2 videos a week. At the time, these were some really promising results. After YouTube finally found my target audience, it was smooth sailing from there on out. The channel was generating around $20 to $80 per day, so for the following few months, if we do some quick maths, that comes at around $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So it felt like the channel was coming along quite nicely, but I wasn't entirely satisfied with the results. You see, I created this faceless channel with the goal of earning way more than just an average monthly salary, so I knew I needed to drastically switch up my strategies in order for that to happen. I started to thoroughly study successful channels in the same niche to find any discrepancies between my channel and theirs. I asked myself, what are my competitors doing that I'm not? Now, what's interesting about 1 out of 10 is that in addition to helping you find profitable niches, it's a perfect tool to spy on your competitors. When you find a video that's relatively in your niche, you then have 2 options: search for similar titles or search for similar thumbnails. By analyzing both of these options, I found a bunch of different ways my competitors were approaching the niche. They all had different angles at creating and packaging the same type of content. In my case, the competitors were first, making way longer videos. Second, in addition to documentaries, they also created compilations. Third, they used a different thumbnail style. And fourth, they uploaded almost daily videos with a few exceptions. Unfortunately, during the time that I was studying my competitors and incorporating new strategies into upcoming videos, I wasn't uploading as much, and my monthly earnings were barely reaching $1,000 a month, which goes to show that consistency is extremely important. Finally, after all the adjustments were set in stone, my new videos videos skyrocketed, pulling in over $16,000 in 1 month alone. Remarkably, on November 13th, I hit a milestone of earning $1,000 in just a single day. It's a continuous cycle of learning from your past mistakes and improving each time, and this channel was no different. After that insane month, I just kept on repeating the formats that worked for me the most. You can notice that a few months after the initial 16K, there was a steady decline in monthly viewership as well as revenue. I was getting too comfortable and I lost my edge. What happened was that I didn't notice that within my niche, there was a new thumbnail trend sweeping the markets, and that made me lose my balance. I can't stress enough how important it is to stay in touch with all the new trends and outliers within your niche. It's a constant game of chess, and the winner takes home the biggest piece of the cake. As you can see, I managed to come up with a few strategies that brought me back on the map, and so far, I can confidently say that I'm one of the highest earning channels in this niche. At the moment, I have a team that assists with video production. I use a few AI tools to help cut costs, and I constantly stay ahead of the curve by keeping an eye out for any new trends or channels emerging on 1 out of 10. The only reason I'm promoting this tool is because I use it myself every single day. I truly believe it can set you apart from the rest of the competition, and I wouldn't be promoting it if that wasn't the case. I hope you enjoyed this case study of one of my faceless channels. I'll be making more of these videos, so if you found this valuable, let me know in the comments down below. Bye-bye.